Okay, so welcome to the podcast. Tonight, I have a very special friend here, and she's going to introduce herself right now. Amy, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much
much
for
for,
being here.
yes, thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be asked. I loved I had your podcast, the name of it, a Family's Little Way, really spoke to me because that we have a really big devotion to the Martin family and to Saint Therese. So
Yes,
special.
I love Saint Therese. I think she's an inspiration to my family life, and also, and we kind of like she's like our patron to this project, a little bit inspirational.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, Amy, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you
Sure.
do? What's your calling? Share with
Absolutely.
us.
Yes. So I am a wife, first and foremost, to my wonderful husband. His name is Shannon. We've been married for 25 years. We have nine wonderful children, ages 23 down to two. And I am also a mentor to Catholic moms, and I've been also a fertility care practitioner. So I teach a natural fertility regulation method called the Creighton Model System, and I've done that for many, many years. Mostly focusing on the health side of it. We're helping women who are struggling with hormonal abnormalities. I teach a lot of classes for moms and daughters on how to balance their hormones without the pill and natural ways. So I'm very into like natural living as a Catholic mom as well. So
That is so beautiful because I feel like in the world we're living, natural family planning is very unknown
mm,
to like the world outside.
yeah.
And I think it's beautiful that we can do that, plan our families in a healthy way.
Yes, and I have a group I run called To the Heights, and so it helps Catholic moms, especially, to focus on balancing their physical, spiritual, mental health. I think a lot of moms feel overwhelmed, and I have found over the last 20 something years of mentoring and coaching women that it's not just one thing. It's not just physical, it's not just spiritual, it's mental. It's a little bit of all those things and learning how to find their individual unique issues that they're struggling with and to tailor into what they actually need so they can be the peaceful, joyful mom that they really desire to be, that the Lord is calling them to be. And that's just something that's really, I love serving women and helping them and guiding them in that way. I think as a young mom, I sought out those Titus 2 moms. I wanted to find them and sit at their feet and learn from them. And I love that I started my motherhood 25 years ago. So you guys, I feel like, are so blessed being a little bit younger than me. I'm like, I would search out those mentor moms and I couldn't necessarily invite myself into their house all the time, although I would try to be like, oh, hey, ask them lots of questions. But the blessing of there's good and bad to social media, but I think one of the blessings is that you can find some of those mentor moms and see what they're doing in their home, and so, but into the Heights, I take all of that and bring the moms in and help them and guide them in that way of just from saints and church teaching and my own life experience as a mom of nine. So I enjoy it so much.
That is
But my
so
full-time
beautiful.
job is mama. I
That's
definitely consider myself a stay-at-home homeschool mama. That's my core. Being a wife is and a Catholic mom is definitely my first and most important duty.
that's so beautiful because okay, I am that mother right now. Like I'm the one searching out those mothers. Like I found you, and in my homeschool group, I have all these other moms that I'm also have, the veteran moms that have graduating their 17, 18-year olds. I'm like, how did you
Yeah.
do it? How did you get through that season? What did you do? How did you
Yes.
get them to pray like that? All these questions
Yeah.
because I have noticed that when with mothers that are going in the season that with littles, the season is so hard. I even wonder, I know the teenage season is hard, but I also see some moms with teenagers and they're like, no, actually, my season with littles is a lot harder than my teenage season. It's a whole different hard.
Yeah.
So we're starting a new year and it's a you know, usually mothers are like, I'm gonna start the year, I'm gonna have all these goals. And in reality, there might be mothers that are actually like still so burned out, right? Because they're not feeling the way they expected to be feel. Or, for example, me, like just had a baby last year. It's my fifth child. And I love what you're saying about becoming a peaceful mother because I find myself that I have been a very peaceful, loving mother, but there are seasons that will stretch you. And before you know it, these demons are coming out of you that you don't even like recognize. And you're like, what is going on? Like, how do I create a rhythm? How to adjust my life to this new season now that I'm living? So there are moments where you're like, okay, do I just get through this? But no, but I want my children, I still want to embrace this season. I still want to love them. I don't want to wait till they're like my 8-year-old or my 10-year-old that are now a lot more obedient in certain areas. So, what do we tell this burnout mother, you know, that just postpartum or even some mothers I've also noticed like, okay, I wasn't planning on having a baby so soon. Oh my God, how am I gonna handle this?
Mm. Like you're explaining what so many moms are going through right now. Like it's so common, and there's many layers to it. There's many layers to it. The first and foremost is that we can't do anything on our own, right? Like nothing without Jesus.
That's
So
true.
sometimes we can think, I have to do this, I have to do that, but really our help comes from the Lord, right? So first and foremost, we have to search Him. And I think one story that I always share that was kind of heartbreaking, I think, as a younger mom, I would hear a lot about go to daily mass. Go to daily mass. I would hear that from really good, solid priests. Like, go to daily mass. I remember hearing one older gentleman, like, and wife that I met, and they said, go to daily mass, and the day you die, you won't be sorry that you did. And so I would try to take my littles. I went to daily mass and I saw another mom. Occasionally she would come and she had a little, I would call a little gaggle of little ducklings. I was like so cute following behind her. She had more kids than me. I think I had about two at the time. Um, and I would go and sometimes I would be in the cry room, because they were loud and noisy and little. And I remember another young mom saying to me, it's okay. Like I said, sometimes I don't even hear the homily. I don't even I'm just there. And she said, Amy, it doesn't, the Lord knows you're there. And so don't worry about that. You're just there. And the other mom that I saw that was older, like I just said, okay, like if I could, you don't have to reinvent the wheel for motherhood. I think sometimes really the best thing, the quickest way to growth, they say, is to find a mentor and that's really you see a lot of fruit, right, coming from her. Like her children are turning out well, her marriage just well, like you see that already, and then just copy what she's doing. Like you don't have to reinvent everything and take this and that and read this book and do that. It's a lot of times, first of all, remember that you are the best mom for your kids, faults and all. You are the mother he designed for them. You're never going to be a perfect mom, but he will fill in the gaps. And so you're going to make mistakes. And if you can just accept that right away, like lean on him and accept that you are going to make mistakes. We all have some sort of like, oh, my parents did this really great thing, but they did this really terrible thing. Guess what? Your kids are going to probably say something like that about you when they grow up. It is
Yeah,
just the way it is.
same.
Like you are never going to be the perfect mom, but we do have a perfect mom, and that is Our Lady. And first, we can look to her, we can look to the saints, and we can trust in the Lord to come in our home and just every day, just as we're going throughout the day, ask for His help. But getting back to daily mass, another mom, I asked her, uh, "How do you go to daily mass? Like, do you come and how do you do that?" And with so many children, and she says, Oh, Amy, I gave up on that a long time ago. It's just too hard with so many, the Lord understands. And like, I gave up on it. And that
I know.
actually,
I'm in one of those.
it actually, when I heard her say it out loud, like, I looked up to her so much and it made me so sad because I thought what I desired was to receive him as often as possible. Like, if I really truly believe that he is the Lord and he is there, like I always say to my kids, like, imagine if Jesus, they said, is at, St. Patrick's Church, he's physically there. Would it be all over the news? They're like, yeah. I'm like, would everybody be lined up in the parking lot? Yes. How would they enter the church? They'd probably crawl in on their hands and knees. Like, if we truly, truly believe that he is physically present, then we would make that the center of our day. And that's what I wanted to do, not out of like scrupulosity or anything. Like, I just, if my husband was like, hey, I'm going to be here all week, every day, this is the only time you can see me is if you come here to visit, would I just be like, okay, well, I'm only going to see you on Sunday, like I just for an hour,
And
like,
Amy, in what season did you kind of start to realize that? Like, what
Yes, so
season
this
were
was
you
very
in?
early on when I had one who was 3 and one who was 1. And
Oh, so you realized this very early on.
I
Wow.
really wanted to, I desired it, but I didn't
Mm.
feel like it was possible. And so that's what I'm saying. I started asking, and I was being told by the older moms that it's just not possible. Now, that was just in my circle. Maybe, yeah, I know there are other moms who did, but I heard that there was another mom in another parish that they said, oh, that lady has like 14 children and she's in daily mass every day and praying the rosary there every day with her children. And I said, okay, someone else is doing it. That gives me the proof that it is possible. It is possible, but I just felt like it was challenging. So I would come and I would go. I would come maybe like a few times a week, and we would stop into the Adoration Chapel with my little ones. I would go up to right in front of Jesus and I would just teach them to blow kisses, and we might only stay for like 5 minutes. It wasn't long because they just couldn't handle like being,
The length.
I would hide in the cry room. I wouldn't go every single day, but I tried to get there when I could. And then later, as it went on, I said, my spiritual director, I really think everyone should have a spiritual director if possible, a good, solid, holy priest if you can, or a good, holy sister if possible. Um, and my spiritual director said, okay, listen, instead of trying to think of I'm going to go every single day, because sometimes we have a human tendency of setting ourselves up for perfection. Like we tend to do that. It's like all or nothing. It's like I'm going to go to daily mass every day. Here we're going to do this, and then it's so hard. The kids are crying, and and then you're like, "Ah, forget it, right? Instead,
Yeah, my son pressed the fire alarm one time
oh
at
my
church.
goodness. Yeah. I remember crying and leaving, being like, this is ridiculous. And then he said to me, why don't you just pick one day that you're going to commit to a week? One day. And then my spiritual director would be my accountability partner. So I said, I'm going to go on Fridays. Just going to pick Fridays. And if we stay in the cry room, okay. If for some reason we have to leave early, it's okay. But I'm going to pick one day. And that's how I started. And then it just started getting easier. Like the kids started getting more used to it. And then we started going like Wednesdays and Fridays. And then it was after a few years, then it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then one year for Advent, we went every day for Advent. And I realized that Advent's always challenging for moms. You're like trying to prepare and get ready for Christmas. And even though it was the same way, it felt like an easier Advent. Jesus was just with us more presently. Anyways, it was quite the change that we noticed. And fast forward, our oldest daughter, who's 23, is a servant sister with the Home of the Mother, and
Oh yes,
she's a
that's
religious
one of the
sister.
most beautiful testimonies that really drawed me to speaking to you.
Oh, thank you. And her vocation story, she mentions in that going to mass often and to adoration really played a part in her vocation story. And people say to me, how did you get her to be open and to have a vocation? I said, well, we always just taught her to be open, absolutely. But I said we brought her to him. And he told her. He actually told her at Mass that he wanted her to be a sister. Like she felt that in her heart at Mass one
Wow.
day. And so it wasn't me, it wasn't my husband, it all is grace. All is grace. And so it may not be possible to go, I don't want to ever say like it's not possible because I don't want to be that mom that says it's not possible because now I see I say I'm in sometimes with my second season of motherhood. I've got the younger uh group of the Carney children, so because I have a few in college and the one living off in Spain
How
was
many have you graduated, Amy?
yes, we have three graduated and a fourth one who will be graduating next year. And
And were they all homeschooled?
uh,
The ones
we
graduating?
we have utilized all different types of schooling actually, mostly homeschooling. Sister Hayden, she graduated from homeschool. Her next two siblings were homeschooled all when they were younger, and then wanted to try a small Catholic high school. The
Mhm.
two of them went to a small Catholic local high school. It was a great education, great teachers. We actually really loved um, that side of it, but we didn't really love, no, the exposure to some things that they were exposed to. Thankfully, I have really great kids, and our second son, Ashton, he still lives at home and goes to university and plays soccer here, and he is just turned out amazing. We love him so much. He has a great podcast, not podcast, a YouTube channel actually.
Oh, nice.
That is for Catholic. Some of you guys would probably like it for your kids. It's
Hmm.
called Frontline with the Divine.
Oh,
It's
nice. You gotta
amazing, and
subscribe.
maybe for your older kids, a little bit older kids, but yeah, it's so great. But they enjoyed that experience. But then I think with our fourth, we really thrive in with homeschooling, and we really love our homeschooling community, and it's just just more like-minded families that what we're really striving for as far as our faith.
Intentionality and
Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah.
although I really did appreciate the help, what I call outsourcing with some of the schooling when they went to the Catholic high school. Um, it's just we live in a strange world, and there's just a lot of, things that people say, oh, well, you've got to let them get out there and be exposed. I'm like, oh, we get plenty of exposure to the world. We don't really need to, throw everybody into the middle of it all the time. And my fourth one, he was just like, I don't want to go. I was like, yeah, I don't think we want to go either. We're not doing that anymore. We're done. But it was good. It was great, experience, and they got a good
That's so
education.
beautiful, but I like that you share that you
Yeah.
guys have tried different things
Yeah.
and that for your family you found homeschooling to be something you thrive in. And
Just
it's beautiful to see the fruits out of it too, because then you see the testimony of your child, your children following Christ, your daughter,
mhm.
that's beautiful.
I think one of our sisters, we are, one thing I strongly believe in is find religious near you, like sisters and brothers and priests that your children can be around a lot because they really need someone besides mom and dad to help guide them in the faith, like that's really strong in the faith. And we have just so appreciated having the servant sisters of the Home of the Mother. They've literally helped us raise our children and the
Wow.
servant brothers of the Home of the Mother. Like, I don't know if you guys have heard of Sister Claire Crockett, the movie All or
Yes,
Nothing.
I love her. I saw her movie, her little film. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
so that's the same order that our daughter is in, and those sisters have just and the brothers. I mean, we would not be the family we are if we weren't for the support of the
Had your
religious.
daughter seen her film, her story already before she decided that ministry, or she just naturally was part of this order because you
Yeah,
guys spent time with them?
no, so it's a really her vocation story is so interesting and beautiful. That's why we have such a connection to Saint Therese as well, because I didn't really know, I didn't have a mentor or an example of. I grew up Protestant. I'm actually a convert, and so
Mm.
I converted like basically right after my husband and I were married, and my husband was raised Catholic, and so I had read a lot about sisters, but I didn't know any sisters. I never met any sisters besides watching The Sound of Music. I was not familiar with sisters, and like,
I
and that was the
know
only
too
example
when
of
I was
sisters.
little. Mhm.
But I taught them all, and my husband and we both taught them to be open to their vocation, to pray for their vocation. It's something every night when we pray our family rosary, which is very important part of our family life. We always pray out loud, like, and Lord, we pray for all the children's vocation. We say out loud that the Lord would let them know if they're called to, religious life or married life or single life serving the church. Like we name them all out loud so they can just hear it and be open to
And
thinking
not
about.
to interrupt, Amy, but like, how do you discern like when you see a child like that might be open, and like, how do you handle that? Like, because how do you like not put your desire there? Like, oh, like, I mean, obviously we give our desire, we want to let God, but I know we're human, so I
Yeah,
don't know. I
yes.
don't know how I
So,
would react.
well, when she was little, she always had, you could see she had a really strong devotion to Our Lady. It was very evident. I mean, she taped a holy card of Our Lady like on the wall next in her bed, and she would like sleep with her little face curled up to it. Like her room was like sunshine, like she had pictures of Jesus and Mary all over the room, and like it was, you saw that sort of stuff very early on. She definitely had a devotion to Our Lady of Guadalupe as well. Like you saw it.
The
Um,
love for Mary.
Yes, for Our Lady. And then my mother, who was Protestant, said to me one day, she had a very close relationship with Sister Hayden when she was little, and she said, Amy, there's something really special about Hayden. And I said, well, yeah, she's our daughter. She's special. She's like, no, there's something really special about her. Like your dad and I think she's going to be a sister or something. Now she was 5 when she said that. I didn't know any sisters. We didn't know anything about any sisters. Sadly, my mom passed away when Sister Hayden was 8, and that was really hard on Sister Hayden, but nobody had ever said anything to her about, we never pushed like, oh, you're going to be a sister, or Nana thinks you're going to be a sister. Like, no, we never said anything like that. But right after Nana died, she was at Mass and she felt this calling that the Lord really spoke to her. She tells the story better than me, but like that she felt the Lord was calling her to be all his, to be totally his,
Wow.
to be a sister. And but we didn't know any sisters. And then 2 months after she got the call, people kept inviting us to go to meet the servant sisters of the Home of the Mother because they have a convent here. And so, but we just hadn't made it. Life is busy, and we were very involved in our parish and some other Catholic family groups, and we just hadn't made it to any of. They have a lot of like family meetings and retreats and summer camps and stuff for kids, but we just hadn't made it yet. And 2 months after she had that call, we met the sisters at a Thanksgiving retreat. And she said when she met them, she instantly knew that was it, like that this was where home was for her. And she went to her first summer camp when she was 10. Sister Claire had been here, but had left literally maybe I think like a month before we met the sisters. So we
Wow.
just missed meeting her. She was living here and working in the school
So
here.
that's like holy ground over there.
Yes. And so she started the Rosary Club here, like so much. So we knew
Oh my
all about
God.
Sister Claire. And like I remember the morning of the earthquake when she passed away. I mean, we were
Wow.
all praying for her. Like we were already so close to the home. Like she was part of our family. Even the home is really
Wow.
like the home and mother is really like a family. And so Sister Claire was definitely part of our family. But it wasn't. But we no, Sister Hayden didn't know about her before. But then, anyways, as far as what you're asking of supporting her, we always told her, and thankfully we had met some other sisters. We had met their parents, and we saw different examples of parents of the sisters, some that really supported their daughters' vocations, and some that were really kind of not super happy about it. And the ones that I saw that really supported them and uh, and they really, you could see that Jesus and Mama Mary came to live in a special way in their home. And so I said, if she ever really does this, I'm going to be like, take her, Jesus, take her. Because I knew that those are the families I saw that, there was a grace that came. And the ones who were really not supportive, you could just see like a sadness, like an
It was a
anguish and
struggle.
the struggle. And so we just told her, like, as long as you're doing what God's calling you to do, you will make us happy and proud. Like if you decide that you don't want to be a sister, then you don't. But she continued on that path. I mean, by the time she was 13, 14, she gave all her clothes away to the poor. She only wore
Wow.
like a long skirt and a collared shirt because that's what like the novices, like candidates, like well, the candidates they call them, which I guess would be like a postulant. I mean, that's what they call them, candidates. She would wear a collared shirt and a long skirt, and and I was like, wow, okay. So but she just would her prayer life was even better than ours, and um we just supported her in that. And so when she was 15, we told her like if you still want to do this when you're 15, we'll take you to Spain to see the mother house, their main house. And
Wow.
um we said, but you have to save up your money if you really want to go and see if this is what God's really calling you to do. And she saved up her money within a year. Like she's very artistic, so she like painted and drew like, images of Mother Teresa and JP2 and all these and sold like she crocheted and made little things, all these things. And she saved up her money very quickly within a year for her plane ticket. My husband looked at me and he says, I think we better start saving up our money. I think we're going to Spain. So, so we did, and we got to go, and she
And
just had
how,
so much
and in this whole
confirmation.
time, how are you feeling like as a mother, like seeing that this is like happening?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, uh, it's hard to describe. I think it's just, I knew that it was a blessing and that's a blessing to have a sister a vocation to come from your home that's why I really embraced reading about the Martin family like Saint Zélie and Saint Louis Martin are Saint Sally is my patron saint. Saint Louis is my husband's patron saint. And we just read a lot about their family and the suffering that Louis especially went through, like as his daughters left one by one to become sisters. Reading about that really helped us to know that there was life is like that anyways. Like it's challenging, but there's also a lot of joy, right? And so we saw that, and the girls would talk about that with their dad and say that, we might not get to be together here on earth, but we will be together for eternity, God willing, in heaven. And so
Wow.
we focus on that with our daughter that she's not here. Like she doesn't come home, for Christmas or holidays or summers or anything like that. But we always and she says this as well as we're all united in the Eucharist. And I love praying the morning prayers and evening prayers because I know she's praying them too, and I know that we're all
That's
united in
so
that
beautiful.
way. And that there's a lot of grace that has come to our home and to our other children, even like from her yes came into our home, and so it's a short life. And I think if your child has a vocation, you support them no matter what, because you will receive that grace. Their yes becomes your yes if you give your yes to give them back. Because I always say the servant sisters and brothers like helped our family so much over the years that the Lord just asked for my firstborn. Like he really did. And so you have to be willing. We're praying for more vocations.
Mm.
What if it's from your home? You have to be willing to say yes, and it's
Yes,
going
I
to
think
be
about that
beautiful.
sometimes. I
Yeah, it's
think
gonna be
about that
beautiful.
sometimes. I'm like, what if like what we're praying now actually happens? And how will I react? So that's why I asked that question because it's so beautiful and ultimately like I mean, your daughter's like a little saint, but obviously there's a mother behind it that has poured her life, her love and surrender. And obviously like love is sacrifice, like you said. And I just find it so beautiful that obviously that was the fruit of you taking her to daily mass, having her fall in love with Jesus. It's a beautiful testimony.
Yeah, we're
And
so grateful for his
trusting too, right?
love.
Because you're still trusting and praying and
Yeah, I
she's
mean we're
okay.
yeah, it's definitely it's like I said, it's something that you have to really give a lot of trust, to the Lord and just know that. he's with her and he's guiding her and he's guiding all of us. And like I said, this life is so short. God
Heaven
willing, we'll
is
all be together.
eternal.
We'll be together
Yeah.
forever. We'll get to have those lovely conversations and time together. She actually, I was such a blessing recently. She got, the sisters don't really come home except for like maybe like, yeah, like a wedding or a funeral or something like that because they take a vow of poverty and, things. But, anyways, she did get to come home for our 25th anniversary celebration. We just had a huge mass and, um, it's so many of our close family and friends and at our anniversary party she got up and gave a little talk and it was such a blessing to see like everyone. It was just beautiful like to hear her talk a little bit about her um, being so grateful for parents that supported her vocation. So
That's amazing, Amy. And I guess that's what you shared is kind of because I was going to ask you like, okay, what other things we can do to pass on the faith to our children, right? Because we're living in a world where it's more challenging, and I guess taking them to daily mass is one of the most important things we can do. What else can you advise us? What else little things do you think that have helped pass on the faith? I know when we homeschool, there's a lot of opportunities of things that we can do at home.
yeah,
Um,
I love all, we have so many great resources. I mean, for passing on the faith and teaching the faith, and I, I think that's important. Definitely with homeschooling, or even if you can't homeschool, like just that we're imparting the faith and teaching, being the first educators of the faith, absolutely. Like, there's so many fun things out there, like Catholic podcasts for kids and art things, and like, there's just YouTube, and there's so many great things. I mean, even the Home of the Mother has great shows on YouTube for families to learn more about the faith together. And I think they have to see you obviously living the faith and that's one of the things I love about the Martin family as well is that the children would what they would say about their parents, that their parents were made more for heaven than they were for earth. And so just the way that you're living the faith is so important because that's why I think I love to help women become more peaceful, joyful mothers because if your child doesn't see you being peaceful, joyful, happy mother, that you don't love your life, and you're just like sad and like grumpy and angry and depressed all the time, why are
yes,
they gonna want to copy your life? Like, why are they gonna want your faith even? I hate
yes,
to
that
say that,
hits
but
hard.
like, why are they gonna want it if you were never this joyful, peaceful mother or father? Dads too, right? Like, the Christians should have so much joy. And that starts honestly with gratitude of like, I think as a young mother, I would sometimes rush through enjoying those little sweet, cute moments. And I savor them so much now because I pause and I soak it in. I soak it in because I know how fast it goes. And I know people say that all the time. And I see people online, they'll make like these little reels and things and where it's like, oh, it goes by so fast and you're gonna miss it. And I think some of the younger moms get mad because they're like, why do you keep saying that? We only get 18 summers. Why are you saying that? Like, we're gonna get more summers. But I'm sorry, like, it's true. Like it is so, I see it now, having one that's grown and gone and we don't really get to see her, maybe once a year. Like it goes by so fast. And so I definitely soak in those little kisses, those sweet little chubby hands of my toddler,
Yeah.
reading to my kids, spending time with them. Like that is the most important thing. Savor
How
it.
do we get to that place where we can become that peaceful mother again?
Yeah. Well,
Because we know that we want to be that peaceful mother or we desire to be, but you know, like I said, like the certain seasons will rock you. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, how do I get to this place of exhaustion or
yes.
burnout? Or we find ourselves like one thing that when I'm burned out, I'll do is I'll ask forgiveness to my children at night and I'll be like, I'm so sorry. Mommy's gonna be try to be better tomorrow. I promise. I'm gonna and then mentally and internally I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get this rhythm tomorrow and then something happens and then a plate breaks and then things are chaotic all over again. I'm not
Yes.
saying this is all seasons, but there are those seasons that will come and sometimes you're trying to get out of it, but you keep going back.
Yes, I know. And I remember, like, I think when Sister Hayden was little, she spilled a bowl of cereal or milk or something, and the bowl broke, and the cereal went every. And I just remember being so frustrated, like, so. And here's this little sweet, innocent child, but I remember being like, "Oh my gosh,"
Hmm.
and I did. I thought to myself, like, "Okay, get it together, Amy. Like, come on," But I was upset. It was a mess. I had to clean it up. And instead, I started just um, seeing that my service of cleaning up those little messes and trying to stay and imagine that I am the heart of the home and that whatever I'm feeling, they're going to feel, and however I'm acting, they're going to act. And so, if I just started imagining that all these little acts of service is a prayer, right? That is a prayer. Like if I have to clean up the broken cereal and the bowl of milk, like let me do it and offer it up to the Lord as this, He's allowed this. He's allowed this bowl of cereal to break and mess all over the floor. How am I going to react? I get to choose in this moment how I'm going to show up. And so I just started taking it moment by moment. Obviously, prayer is number one, but just moment by moment. This is an opportunity right now. This is my holiness. Like one sister said to me one time, she said, Amy, these children are going to be your path to holiness. This is your path to, like, and it's so true. Like, it doesn't have to be that you're out in the world doing all these big things. It may be cleaning up the bowl of cereal. And thank you, Lord, for this moment. Thank you that I'm having to pick up this mess and let me just breathe through it. And there's a really great book called Overcoming Sinful Anger. I don't know if you've ever read it or heard of it
I
before.
haven't, but I
It
might have to
is
order it.
so good. It's very small. It's very small. But he talks a lot about when something like that happens and you're like upset that you acted a certain way. Take some time. Maybe you're taking a bath or something and imagine how the situation went. Now imagine how you wish you would have reacted. Okay? And then once you picture how you wish you would have reacted, because this is probably going to happen again.
Oh,
Somebody
for
else is going
sure.
to drop a bowl of cereal and break the bowl everywhere, okay? And if you've spent some time imagining how you wish you would have showed up, then next time it happens, you might show up 50% better. And then you're going to do it again. You're going to imagine it again. Well, okay, how did I do that time? Well, I did a little bit better, but I still yelled and I still got, okay, but I did better than the first time. Okay, so let me imagine how do I really want to show up? Let me close my eyes and just imagine the whole scene of how I really want to show up. God be with me. God help me. Okay, and then the third time it happens,
Mm.
guess what? You're going to show up a little bit better. And guess what? You keep doing that a year later, 2 years later, you're going to start noticing that, well, I'm not really exploding like that anymore. Like when these little things happen because I've sat and imagined who I want to be. Maybe I've looked for a mentor mom and I even say to myself, what would she do in this moment? Okay, let me just copy what she would do. Like
And
someone
creating that
that's so,
habit, maybe
yes,
more
yes,
like I like what you're saying, like it's more like creating that habit of how I'm going to react and
mhm,
practicing it.
yeah. And
Yeah.
imagine your friend that you know, like think of your most joyful, happy friend, and imagine that she dropped the bowl or her daughter dropped the bowl and spilt the bowl. What would your friend do that's the most happy, joyful mom you know? Okay, just do what she would do. And
Mhm.
maybe it's not natural for you. It doesn't feel like you would normally do, but guess what? It's just a skill. It's like learning to ride a bike. Those people that you know that are super joyful and happy all the time, do you not think they suffer and that they don't have their own crosses? Yes, they do, but they've learned somehow to
Some
master
people think
being
that about
joyful.
me actually. But then I tell them that it's not that I'm always joyful. Is that like I'll be joyful, but then I'll like passive, 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 and then I'm like, bah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where the overcoming sinful anger was so helpful for me because I just was like, okay, in those moments that that happens, like, how can I overcome that? We have to overcome it, you know? And I a good priest friend of mine said one time too, like, he's like, sometimes with Catholic families, he's like, yes, the prayer is good, living the liturgical life, doing all the holy things. He says, but you must have a lot of fun as a family. Have more
Hmm.
fun as a family. Go on adventures, do fun things together. Let your kids see, cultivate, like, what is what do you want the spirit of your home to be, or like the atmosphere of your home to be like, and then cultivate that.
I love that. I like to listen a lot to the Sarah Mackenzie. Have you listened to her
Oh yes,
from Read Aloud
yes.
Revival? So
She's
she does
great.
a podcast, and one of the things she mentioned was that in the sense of for homeschooling, how do you want your kids to remember homeschooling? So it has to be fun and make it smile. Like you don't want them to have these memories that it's going to be dreadful. So
Yeah.
I like that she shared that a lot and what you're saying, the same thing for motherhood. Like, and she also shares a lot about becoming this peaceful mother. And it's so cool because actually she just did a podcast recently where she interviewed her daughter that's already graduated with a
Oh wow.
master's. And
Hmm.
she shared that because her oldest was with her when she had twins and it was chaotic at home. And she
Yes.
had seven. And she says, do you remember that season?
Mhm.
And Sarah was like, I honestly, like, I remember it being so much fun. Like, I loved having twin babies. Like, I don't remember the craziness.
Right.
And she was like
Exactly.
in shock that
Exactly. And
her
I
daughter didn't remember that. She just said a bunch of beautiful things about the experience.
Yes, and I think
Which,
my daughter, the oldest sister Hayden, like I remember like what you were saying, like, oh, I go in and I apologize and I tell the kids, Mommy's so sorry, I'll do better tomorrow. I did that a lot, I think, with Sister Hayden, and in my experience, um, she finally was like, Mom, can you please stop saying that? You were a great mom. And she's like, all I remember growing up was this great Catholic parents that I had that raised me in the faith and gave me a great childhood. Like you were a great mom. And so,
oh,
yeah, the kids, I think we're harder on ourselves. You know, children are very resilient. They really are. And
that's
you are the perfect
beautiful.
mom for your kids, faults and all. That's what I always tell myself and all my mamas. Like, it's just so true.
That's awesome, Amy. Yes, I really love what you're saying when it comes to the motherhood. And I know you practice a lot of simple living as well. I'm guessing that also goes along with the family culture you guys have created with homeschooling. And when you mean simple living, like how do you guys practice simple living in your family?
Yeah, so when it's just what we chose. I mean, it's not for everyone, but like we lived in like big suburban house, lots of activities. Our kids were in like multiple sports. We were running all around town all the time, and like I was very busy in like co-ops and leading co-ops and all the Bible studies. It was just like we were on the go a lot. And I had a lot of fun. I love to be social and my kids are very social and like we had a lot of fun doing it. Um, but it got to the point where I felt like we were all going different directions and you know my husband was taking these boys to soccer and girls to this sport and whatever and piano lessons and all things and I said, you know, I just want to be together more often. Like I don't want us to be, I could see as the boy, especially we had a girl, boy, girl, and then four boys in a row. And I'm like, my second son is like really good at soccer and he was on a travel team and he's traveling up and down the Northeast and ended up playing university soccer, which was awesome. But when his four brothers started like they wanted to bring them all into travel soccer, and I said, I don't really want to spend like the next 10 years of our life where I'm in this city and you're in that city and we're all, never home together for dinner. So we decided we asked the boys like, "Hey guys, what if we just take off at one season and we'll just let's travel to all the springs on the weekends. We live in Florida. Let's go to all the Florida springs for the summer and spring and like just have a lot more fun. Go camping and we got an RV and we did that. So but one season turned into like 4 or 5 years. Like
Oh,
we
wow.
ended up
That's
having so
beautiful.
much fun, and then we ended up um, downsizing our house, and we bought a little house on the lake that my husband and I met as teenagers, and we wanted to move back home to the lake we grew up on, and so we bought like a smaller house, downsized, sold probably 75% of our stuff, downsized to because obviously, to a lakefront property is more expensive and the house was small. Everyone thought we were crazy buying this like tiny house, but we were like, we just want to be outside. We're very much water people. Most of my kids are lifeguards. My husband and I were lifeguards growing up. Like we love the water. We love being outside kayaking and boating and our kids wakeboard. And so instead of doing like organized sports, we started doing that sort of stuff together. And so my boys are really great at wakeboarding and they go to the beach and go surfing and we kayak together. We're always in the water. We're a big water family. Um, but it just allowed more family time because I just again we all kind of realized, especially when Sister Hayden left, that my second oldest daughter, she said it made me realize that we all won't be under the same roof forever. And we all just really knew that. And so we've kind of embraced it of just more quality family time instead of um, running. Not that my kids don't still love sports, they're all very sporty. And so sometimes actually in the summer we'll do swim team together because we can all go to the same practices and the same meets, but we can be together. That's why we love the home and the mother because we all go together. It's not mom's volunteering this at church and dad's volunteering over here at church, which I'm not saying that's bad either. It's just what we've chosen to be together more and have that family time of fun and being in the church and serving the church, but all together, more together time and just
I love that.
being very careful of what our yeses are of like getting too I hate the word busy when people are like, how are you? Busy, busy. I'm like, I don't want to be busy. I lived the busy life for
No.
my first half of motherhood and it was fun. I think there's good things to sports. I do. I'm not saying that sports are all bad. That's good. It's just for us it's something we decided to slow down. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like callings that you start getting within your family. We just finished reading Slowing Down at the Speed of Joy for
Mm,
Advent.
that, hmm.
It's by Matthew Kelly, Dynamic Catholic.
Yes.
It was
Uh-huh.
very good. Like he talked about like taking the Sabbath and how like you have to fight for your slow time because as a family, it's just like you like it's true. Like put a slow day on a calendar and something is gonna come up so that
Yeah.
you guys are not together. And so we don't make that slow day happen. Not that, like you said, like it's a calling, but at the same time, it's a healthy calling because the world more and more tries to like divide us and pulls us in different directions. I'm
Yeah.
so amazed also that your boys like surrendered that life they were
I
living.
know it was definitely a grace, I think. And now we're entering into a season where like it's nice because my high schooler right now, he's a very good swimmer. And so because he can drive, he's wanting to do year-round swimming and he's swimming for the local high school, even though he's a homeschooler, you can do that in Florida. You can swim and he's doing really well and made in but it's not interrupting like all our family time now because he can drive himself. So he can go to the practices and like I love swim team for that reason. Like I'm sure there's other sports that you can all do together, but like that one it's been really great. Like he can still have that time and go and do that. And then our son that plays soccer, like he's in college, so he'll of course go to his own practices, and sometimes they travel because it's a university team. And um, but the little boys actually right now are really expressing an interest of like, okay, we kind of want to try something else. And I'm like, okay, might be a season where we enter back in, but we're looking at sports that, again, we can all go maybe together that they're all kind of interested in. And they're like, yeah, maybe we want to try this sport
Yeah,
or
the
that
more
sport. So,
together you can be, the
mhm.
better, right?
Yes, it's so true.
Um, Amy, and kind of like I'm sure we have a few minutes left, I think.
Mhm.
And well, you're a family of nine. That's beautiful. So you're also very brave, and I know that requires a lot of surrenders. I have five. And so I know, I mean, you must know a lot more than me, but it's not easy saying yes always to the Lord, being open to life. Even in the Catholic faith, you see many families challenged. And I know there's NFP to space out your children, but even then, you're kind of open to
Mhm.
having another child at the same time of doing natural, trying to plan out your family, right, with the Lord. And I see a lot of fear in families, even friend mothers, of, oh my God, but I can't, like, I think we're done. Um, what can you say to that? I think like it requires prayer. Obviously, every family's different. Lately I've been praying about it and saying, okay, like I don't like to judge any family because I know every family lives different situations. Every woman's body's different in health wise or the challenges that come with having a child.
Yes.
Mentally, you know, I know that maybe one, it doesn't matter the number. Like you could have one or two and still be very mentally challenged by it's not the amount. And of
Yes.
course, you still want to love your children well. So I think that's why NFP is beautiful because maybe if you're having a hard time, you can space out a child until you feel like you're more ready, right? To be emotionally ready as well. But I don't know, what can you share now having nine children? That's amazing. Praise God.
Well, it's definitely a blessing, and I would say I'm so grateful to the Lord that He allowed us to really study and understand about being open to life and what that means. Um, because for us, I want to backtrack just for a second here with the moms. One thing I think is very important is that as a fertility care practitioner and a nutrition expert is that sometimes I can tell you just to pray more and pray more and pray more, but sometimes I highly suggest you go find yourself a functional medicine doctor, every mom if possible, or someone that will really work with you on testing your hormones and seeing or if it's your vitamin D level or your iron or your ferritin or something because or maybe there's food sensitivities like for in my case a lot of those things were playing a role and it definitely affected my mood, even my adrenal glands needed support. And so those things really are important because sometimes you can, like for myself, I actually had to go on like an autoimmune protocol diet. And when I did that, I realized the difference of like the quiet and peacefulness of my mind. Honestly, the anxiety that I had been experiencing for years and I didn't know was like a low level hum back there in the back of my mind. The stress I was feeling that things just felt so hard and heavy was actually food sensitivities and adrenal fatigue and low ferritin. And very low progesterone. I actually had a chronic miscarriage problem. I lost five babies. And
Wow.
so we were able to have these nine beautiful children due to NAPRO technology. That's why I say that, like, I'm, I think, in my personal opinion, like, as far as using NFP to avoid pregnancy naturally, the church does support that in dire circumstances. And so there are times when, like, yes, maybe there's a health crisis or something that's going on that, like, it is definitely necessary, to postpone. I had a friend that just was going through breast cancer treatment, and she had to use NFP to postpone while she was going through all of that. So thanks be to God that we have, very accurate, medically reliable methods like Creighton or some of the other ones out there. And so that's beautiful. But I think sometimes, yes, like you mentioned, there's a lot of fear. I think because life is very challenging, we don't feel like we have control because we don't, because we're not in control of what we think we are, right? And so sometimes I think we try to look for what it is we can control, and a lot of times that comes down to children. Like people are like, "Oh, but it's so hard. It's so hard. If I have another one, I'm not gonna be able to handle it." But it's kind of like when you see someone going through something really challenging, like the loss of a child or cancer or something, and they're handling it with so much grace, and you're like, I don't know how they're handling it with so much grace. Or you see another mother with a lot more children than you have, and you're like, I don't know how she's doing that. It's because you're not there yet. It's because you don't have the cancer. It's because you didn't lose a child. It's because you don't have that many children, because the Lord will only give you the grace you need when you need it. So He's giving her that grace, and you're seeing that grace, but you don't understand it. It's from the Lord. That's why, because you're not there yet. So you have to trust that if He brings the child, He'll bring the bread, He'll bring the grace, He'll bring the joy, He'll bring everything you need. You will adapt. People say, I said, look, was it challenging when you went from one to two? Yes. When you went to two to three? Yes. And you said, like, you just had your fifth, right? I'm sure you're experiencing those. It's like a growing pain. But, you know, if you talk, like, if you ever look at that fifth child, like, people say to me all the time, like, how do you have nine? I was like, oh my goodness. After I had baby number three, I was very anemic. That pregnancy was challenging. That birth was challenging. I remember sitting up in bed, looking at my husband, crying and saying, I don't think I can do this again. This is so hard. I don't know if I can do, I don't think I want to do this again. I couldn't go up my stairs. I was so sick. And, thank God we were open to life. Thank God, I didn't go and do what some of the secular world does and have my tubes tied or him get a vasectomy. And then guess what? I never would have met baby number four, baby number five, our youngest sweet little Kellen, who just is like, if you see my 22-year-old son holding him and loving on him, like the joy he brings to our family, how we all laugh at his cute little 2-year-old antics. Like I would never know him. I wouldn't know him even if the Lord had him planned because I had said no. Like, so basically we saw that after baby number five, like we really like we had baby number three, thanks be to God, like was open to life. So, 2 years later you heal and you start to feel better. And the first two were little peas in a pod's best friends, and the third one were like, she needs a little buddy, so we had the fourth one, and then let's have another one. So we had the fifth one, and then after that we said, oh my goodness, like I can't imagine life without this fifth one. Who else is missing from our family that we don't know? Let's forget the charting, forget the NFP, throw it in the trash can. Like, let's just have as many as we can have. Now that's our blessing. We had to
Praise
chart
God.
still because we did have low progesterone, so we did have to like monitor that so I wouldn't lose the babies. But when I had baby number six, when we said, "Oh Lord, let's just have we'll have as many as you want," and I had developed a complication after baby number six, called cholestasis of pregnancy, and it's hereditary and it's very dangerous, like for mom and baby. And basically, my NFP only doctor said, "Okay, that's it. You're done. Like no more. This is dangerous. You can't have any more." We kept praying. We were like, okay. And like, we kind of got rid of all the baby stuff. Or like, I guess, we said yes, however many you want, Lord. But I guess, six was all you have planned for us. This is obviously our cross. We kept praying about it, but because I'm very into natural health, I dove into all of that. I basically, long story short, found a way to heal from all of that and
Mm.
naturally. And we went back to our NFP only doctor, said that we've done everything possible to heal. Everything looks great in my blood work. And he said, I'm telling you, it's hereditary. If you get pregnant, it's going to happen again. It's 90% you're going to get it again. So we're going to choose to trust in the Lord here. And we got pregnant,
Wow.
baby number seven, and thanks be to God, never got it. Baby number eight, kept doing what we were doing, never got it. Baby number nine, healthy pregnancy, safe. Thanks be to God. But I have had friends that, they've had four and that had a really bad health complication and she couldn't have any more. The Lord calls everybody different seasons, but I think if you just can be uh, so prayerful, so trusting, so remembering what it was like when you went from one to two, and just knowing that different seasons come and he's going to give you the grace to do it. And it's not
Amen.
going to be easy, never, but children, like they bring so much joy and challenge at the same time, just like life. But children are the biggest adventure you're ever going to go on in your life, and they really
Amen.
will make a saint out of you because you have to, as you're seeing, I'm sure, like realize
Yes.
what your faults are, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they'll. They teach us so much. They bring us closer to Christ.
Yes, and you never
There's
regret
no,
them.
my prayer has been the last few weeks, Jesus, because what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to go to the adoration when I can throughout the week, or my husband can cover me. And, at home, we don't have any quiet time.
Yeah.
Even though I'm trying to wake up early now,
Hmm.
trying to start my day, but, baby, I have early riser, so it's not much wave time there.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
only way I'll have like quiet is if I go to adoration and my husband covers. But it's been a blessing because I feel like that's where I can like really get at Jesus' feet. And then I'm so happy I go because then I can just be like, Jesus, you take the fish and the bread and multiply it. And that's been my prayer. You multiply and do
And he
what you
does.
can do with that.
He always does. And that's so beautiful that you guys can take turns. It's so important as husband and wife that we like, we give each other time to go and have, maybe even in your room, like 20, 30 minutes at the end of the day to have some prayer time. Like, obviously there's different seasons and sleep is so important. So I always tell the moms, like, you need to treat sleep like it is the number one medicine that you have besides prayer. Like it's the best supplement. It beats all the supplements. It beats all the healthy food. Like you need your sleep. And yeah, if you need your prayer time. So however you guys can trade off when they're little to be able to get your prayer time. And of course, praying together as a family, like and as spouses. Um, my husband wakes me up every morning before he leaves. He leaves pretty early, but he wakes me up and just honestly, it's so simple. Like there's been seasons where we get up and we're praying and we're maybe doing a Bible study early in the morning, and then there's seasons where I'm just exhausted and I need my sleep. And so I'm not going to do that. I'm not. And so he'll lean over me in the morning and just we'll hold hands and we'll just say some prayers before he leaves. And um, it's so important to have that you have your prayer time, your family. We consecrate our day, with the kids in the morning to Our Lady. Have your house enthroned to the Sacred Heart and the Immaculate Heart. Have your health
Mm,
blessed. All of these things are so important in your prayer life, and it's all integrated. But your hormones, all these mamas, like, don't just be thinking it's because you're not praying enough. It could be something you're eating or something you need more magnesium glycinate. I don't know. I'm not your doctor, but
for
like,
sure.
you definitely, and that's what I help mamas with is like, let's figure all that out. So.
And where can we find you, Amy, if some mommies are needing some guidance or mentoring?
Well, I'm on Instagram a lot. I'd like to share my daily life and stories when I can, just because, like I said, I was so grateful for those mamas who mentored me and let me peek into their home life. So I try to do that just very naturally, like what we're doing during our days. And so I'm definitely present there on Instagram and Amy Carney. And then also my email, you can always reach out to me via email. It's just very simple, amycarney@gmail.com, and happy to meet. And I love guiding women. So I don't want people, I spent years, like the first half of my motherhood, trying to solve all the issues. Like, why do I feel anxious? Why do I feel angry? Why do I feel stressed out and overwhelmed? And it took me years to move through each what I call arena, um, and find amazing programs like the Women's School and books like Searching for and Maintaining Peace by Father Jacques Philippe, and Writings of the Martin Family. Like there's just so much, and I don't want other women to. I want to give them the Cliff Note version so they can quickly move forward and be that peaceful, joyful mom. So.
Thank you, Amy. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on with us and taking the time to be with us and sharing this beautiful testimony of your family, your children, your marriage. And I'm pretty sure God's going to continue to do amazing things with you and your yes.
You. Thank you. And thank you for doing this. I think this is so needed. And like I said, it's just another way of helping moms and dads to have different tools that they need. Because like I said, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We can like learn from each other, right? So I can learn
Yes,
from people younger and older than me. I can take,
yes,
the good and use that in our family as well. So
for sure. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. God bless.